Here's what you can expect on today's Families Matter Most podcast.
I felt like if I couldn't manage everything, then I didn't deserve to have the new thing. So therefore, I couldn't admit failure. I couldn't admit defeat. And it felt like that. It felt like failure and defeat in my own mind. What can you do to encourage your own self? Set up the wins. Be intentional about the feeling you want to have in your home and then go after that. I want you to love your life now. So let's figure this out, guys.
Every time Jen Dean speaks, I can see hope, knowledge, expertise, wisdom, and love.
When Jen Dean speaks about parenting, we make sure that we are there to listen because we know we will get valuable advice.
Families Matter Most with Jen Dean.
She doesn't just give skills for us to be better parents, but she teaches us how to reach our children's hearts. And at the end of the day, that's what truly matters.
I was reading a study where the author of the study was asking 32 of the most successful people he knew. It was Brendan Burchard. He was asking 32 of the most successful people he knew, what were the enemies that were preventing them? What were the things they had to overcome in their life to get to this incredible level of success? And I think that the answers they gave apply to us wherever we're at. Are these enemies holding you back? Parents, are these stopping you from reaching the hearts of your kids? Are these three enemies keeping you from having the peace and the joy and the contentment that you want in your life? I'm going to share those three enemies with you and tell you how to overcome them. I'm Jen Dean. I'm a family coach, and I work with parents every single day to help them take better care of themselves and to help them reach the hearts of their kids. This is what I get to do. And you know it. Lots of this, okay, we're frustrated with our kids. Maybe the behavior isn't what we want. Maybe, there's too much anger and the siblings are fighting and the kids aren't listening and it's stressful at home. I get it. That can be maddening. I am a mother in the trenches along with you. But honestly, how much of it is the kids and how much of it is us? I think if we're honest, probably as parents, we are responsible for what? What do you think? 75% of the tension in the home? We can work on the behaviors with the kids. I can help you to do that. We can have strategies. We can deal with negative behaviors. We can work on building character. We can help brothers and sisters get along. We can do all those things. Bedtimes, meal times, getting into the van without fighting. These are all things we can work on. But how much of this is something that's coming from you, from your heart, from your stress, from your frustration, from feeling critical and like no matter what you do, it's never going to be good enough. And you can do 99 things right, but that one thing you get wrong, you're going to just beat yourself up about that all day. Can you relate to that? Well, that's what this study was talking about. And even though it was specific to business CEOs, founders, professionals, I think there's tons of wisdom in there for us. So I'm going to share how I think this applies to us as parents. First, I want to say a special thank you to Connexus Credit Union. Does money spark joy in your life? I'm guessing not. Does it cause you stress? Probably, right? If you said stress, you're not alone. For 42% of Canadians, they say, in fact, their biggest stressor comes from money. At Connexus, they care about your financial well-being. So money doesn't have to be stressful, and Connexus is here to help. The Connexus Money Talk blog provides expert advice, tips, and solutions for all life stages and events. Getting married, buying a house, budgeting, saving. They cover it all and more. And it's free. Check it out today at connexusmoneytalk.ca and start feeling confident and stress-free about your money. I mean, come on, we got enough things to stress out about. Let's leave the money stuff to the experts. Sound good? Deal. When you think about success in your life, what comes up for you? Is it business? Is it reaching the next level in your career? Is it getting that course finished? Is it feeling more content in your role if you're a stay-at-home mom? Is it feeling like you can juggle kind of that rhythm of, things that you're involved with outside of the home versus inside and dealing with the kids? Is it feeling more joy in the day-to-day stuff, in like just the regular dishes and laundry and kids and diapers? Do you wish that you would have more joy, peace, contentment in that area? Is that what success would look like for you? What about happiness? What would happiness in your life look like? Now, of course, in the study, it was all about business and finding balance between work and home life and making sure you're not working 150 hours a week and all of that. But for parents, there's a lot of similarities, right? We work long hours for no pay at all. And very often we feel stretched. We feel like it's thankless. We feel like nobody even notices. Nobody even cares that we haven't brushed our teeth in 2 days and we're still in our house coat at 7 p.m, right? Nobody even cares that we took the time to iron all the clothes or to go find the hockey skates that certain child needed or to register or to drive or to pick up all the things. Like, they are largely unnoticed, pretty thankless jobs. What would success and happiness look like for you? I think it could be really valuable to pause this and just think about that. What is a win here? What would success look like for you in your life, in your stage right now? Put words to that, quantify that. And then what would happiness look like? Are you in that spiral of, once I reach this, then I'll be happy? Or if I could only get here, then I'll be happy? Because I promise you, that is not true. You know it. You know that, somewhere deep down, that there is no destination where all of a sudden now you're allowed to be happy. There will always be new things, new challenges, new things stopping you. So the solution here, the key, is to figure out a way to be happy now. What would it take for you to show up in your life, in your situation, with your family, your work, whatever that is? What would it take for you to be happy now, right now? Maybe you have the boss that you hate. Maybe you have a certain child that's just challenging and pushing all of your buttons. What would it take for you to be happy right now? Maybe your marriage is tense. It's not going the way that you want it to. It's a bit of a struggle. How can you be happy right now? Now, not in a year, not once the kids are out of diapers, not once the kids are in school, not once I get to this level, not once I'm promoted, right now. Because I want you to make decisions from that place now and figure out how to be happy now so that when you get to those things, sure, you can enjoy them. I promise you this, if you are not happy now, just reaching that thing will not magically all of a sudden flip a switch in your brain and you're going to all of a sudden have all this peace, joy, contentment, happiness. I promise you that does not happen. It's a lie. It's a dirty lie we tell ourselves. It's not true. We need to find a way to be content, to be happy now. And this study that I was reading talks about the 3 enemies that these leading CEOs, business owners, that they were sharing. These were the 3 enemies that held them back in their own lives. And then I'm going to offer you what I think would be some great tips to overcome them. Ready? The first one. The first enemy of happiness, peace, contentment in our life is exhaustion. Are you exhausted? Are you really exhausted? People are tired. Parenting is hard work. Parenting is the hardest thing I've ever done, ever. Like, there is no just follow these 3 steps and everything will be perfect all the time and you'll have no problems. That's not going to happen. Parenting is hard. It is, I think, kind of by default, exhausting. So can I just go out on a limb and assume that every single person is exhausted? Every parent is exhausted to some degree, on some level. And I'm going to guess that you're exhausted. You're listening to this and you're exhausted. You know what it's like when, if you've read people that maybe have fasted for a long time or for whatever reason, they actually don't feel hungry anymore. You've heard of that before, right? They lose their hunger cues. Same with thirst. If people are so notoriously dehydrated, like just continuously dehydrated, their body and their brain doesn't register thirst anymore. Could it be the same for you and exhaustion? Could it be that you're so tired now that you don't even recognize it as tired? Your brain decides it's because the kids don't listen enough, or you don't make enough money, or it's just too hard, or right? Like, have you attributed it to something else? It's just too stressful, when really you just need sleep. Maybe you truly need a good night's sleep. Are you exhausted? I'll be honest, in my own life, when I turned 40, I went through this crazy medical kind of internal crisis. I didn't know what was going on. I was so tired all the time. It was hard. I want to say it was hard for me to function. I could function, but it was hard. And I thought, man, is this 40? Is this just what it's like to turn 40? Lots of doctor's appointments, lots of figuring out blood work. Is it thyroid? What's going on? Am I deficient in something? And finally, you know what it was? I was tired. I needed sleep. I'm working with an expert, a professional, who's basically just telling me to get lots of sleep. That's really the solution, was sleep. In fact, she would prescribe me nights off. So in fact, she made me come up with a sleep cocoon. And maybe this will help you. I had to come up with a sleep cocoon in the sense that it had to be a dark room, had to be away from people, could have no lights, could have no sounds, no distractions, no cell phone, no watching movie, nothing. It had to be super dark, and I had to be in there for X amount of hours. I had to be all alone, nobody in there with me, no distractions at all. And I had to be in there, I think it was three nights a week. I had to be in there sleeping. It had to be kind of cold. There were all these rules to make it conducive for a good rest. That was her opinion, was that I was just exhausted. And when you're exhausted, your hormones are out of whack. My brain, everything was kind of depressing, and I was miserable, and I was tired, and it was getting harder and harder to function. And truly, I don't want to minimize. There are legit, of course, reasons, medical reasons that you could be exhausted, for sure. But in my case, it was sleep. I was so exhausted that I didn't even understand how exhausted I was. Maybe this is you. When's the last time you had a real good night's sleep? You might have little people at home that wake you up 3 times a night, every single night of the week. Could I prescribe to you? If I, and I can't prescribe anything, but if I could I prescribe to you a night where you arrange it with a family member, you get someone to sleep over and help you with the evening wake up things, where you get a full night's sleep? What do you have to do to organize that? Because that really might be the enemy. That might be the thing that's holding you back in every area. I was so tired, I couldn't enjoy anything. Even going out with friends wasn't filling my cup. Even sitting on the couch, I couldn't read, I couldn't rest, I couldn't do anything. So maybe the answer is sleep. So that's one solution, is to just set up your environment, make it like it's a prescription. You need to get literal hours of sleep. How do we make this happen? Do you pay someone come in the afternoon and hang out with the kids so you can have a nap? What do you need to do to just get those sleep in? And figure this out. Let's make it happen. Maybe this is the thing that's holding you back, and it'll be a game changer. It was a game changer for me when all of a sudden the skies opened up, the sun shined down, and I realized, you know what? I just needed a good solid 8 hours. That's all I needed. And all of a sudden, everything doesn't seem so terrible. I can do this now. I can make decisions. I can show up for my kids. I can be there for my partner. I can do the things an adult again, because I feel like I'm in control. I feel like I'm not so exhausted. So what do you got to do? Think about the sleep cocoon, because it really did help. But here's the thing. What does rest mean? Personally, I had it wrong for so long. For so long, I had it wrong. I thought in my own head, rest is what you could do once everything else was done. Rest is what you got to have when everything else, all your to-do list, your house was clean, your kids were looked after, supper was done, like when everything else on your to-do list was accomplished, then you could rest. Well, guess how often that happened? Never, ever, right? If I did slow down, I felt like I was cheating. I felt guilty. I felt like I was copping out and I'd given up on getting my work done and I was resting when I shouldn't be. That's kind of how it felt. Do you feel that way? What does rest mean to you? What's helped me is to think of it as recovery, to think of it like you exhale, you naturally have to inhale. Think about this. You exhale on everybody. You're pouring out on everybody around you all the time. You're always exhaling. When do you inhale? Do you inhale like only when you absolutely have to? When you're gasping for breath? When you need it? Is it just like the bare minimum of inhale? Because shouldn't it be equal? Shouldn't it be like for all the exhaling, for all the pouring out, there is just a natural breathing in. It has to happen. That has helped me, thinking of it like an inhale, thinking of it that, you know what, when I take the time to recover, when I take the time to rest, to inhale, this helps me exhale again. I can't keep exhaling if I don't inhale. I need to do this. And it somehow in my own brain, that has helped me to not feel guilty, to not feel like it's just something that I only get as a reward when everything else is accomplished. I'm starting to see it more and more like it's what I need in order to keep going to get my things done. Maybe that will help you today. So challenge that thought. If you feel like it's just like an after effect, it's a reward for a hard day's work, can we challenge that? Can we say, no, maybe that's what you need to do in order to put in that hard day's work? So what is rest, recovery, inhale? What does that look like for you? Sleep and rest, they might be different. They might be very different for you. Sit down, take some time, go for a walk, go for a drive, think about that. What does it look like for you? And can I give you permission to take what you need for yourself? I don't think you're going to risk, putting yourself ahead of everyone and ignoring everyone around you. I don't think you're going to do that. Can I give you permission not to put yourself at the very bottom of the list, but to recognize that you need to take that time for yourself? So these CEOs have said this was an enemy to them. It did not help them. We're in like this hustle culture, the 5 a.m. club, the grind, the side hustle, just get it done, just keep working. And they're saying that held them back. When they overcame the exhaustion is when they made it, is when they got to that next level. So I'm prescribing that to you. I give you permission. Get the rest you need, get the recovery. Don't forget to inhale. Number 2, the second enemy, the thing that holds you back from feeling that peace, that contentment, joy, happiness in your life could be discouragement. Could it be discouragement? You're going to need to learn how to be encouraged because there's not always going to be that person. I mean, I'm here for you. I'm cheering for you all the time, 100%. But how can you encourage your own self? And do you feel like you kind of wallow in discouragement? If you do, you're not alone. I do this too. And I am getting better and better. I would not say I'm perfect at this. I tend to be critical. If you feel like you struggle with discouragement, I'm gonna say probably you struggle with being critical. Probably there's a ton of self-judgment. You pick at yourself, you find every little flaw, you kind of hammer on yourself if you make a mistake, you look for the negative character in yourself. And the problem is we tell ourselves this is going to help us to get better, but it doesn't, right? It doesn't. And it's not positive. It's not motivating. It just kind of makes it harder to do the thing. It kind of goes hand in hand with that exhaustion, right? As you feel like, oh man, this is unmotivating now. I'm discouraged. I'm not motivated. Now I'm even more exhausted and everything's harder. The problem too with this is because I know you love your kids, but if you're critical on yourself, I guarantee you are also critical with your kids. And none of us want to be. I don't want to be that nitpicky mom. I don't want to be that mom where everyone feels like it's never good enough for her. I don't want that. And yet I know I have some of that in me. If you are hard on yourself, I promise you 100% you are also hard on your kids. You are also hard on your partner. You don't mean to be, but it just comes out. It leaks out of you. So let's work on this. Let's work on this for you, but also for the people around you, because you don't want to show up that way. I know you don't. So let's focus on encouraging our own self. Let's look for the positive. Let's decide that being critical, being judgmental towards our own self isn't helping. Picking out all of our negative flaws is not actually encouraging us. That's not motivating us to work on the things. Here's what you can do. Define the win. What is it you want to have accomplished at the end of the day? Now, you're probably going to look at your to-do list and be like, well, I've got 25 things I need to do. No, realistically, can you think of three things? If I get these 3 things done today, then that's a win. Anything else is a bonus. Anything else is like, extra. But if I can do these 3 things today, work on this project, run this errand, do this thing with the child, like whatever it is, these 3 things, if I can do these 3 things today, that's a win. I think this root of being judgmental and critical towards ourselves is that we don't define what a win is. So even if we did those 3 things, if we haven't defined it, we look at those 3 things and we say, yeah, but I didn't get this or this or this done. You could do all 6 things, but then you would look around your house and say, oh, but I didn't do this. I'm a failure over here. This is where I got it wrong. Do you see the problem? When you haven't defined what a win is, then everything's a loss. We lose all the time. There will always be something we don't do. I could do 99 things perfectly, but I will find that one thing that I didn't do well, and I will just trash myself about that until I feel like a failure. I've failed. I'm a failure. The whole day is ruined because I did this one thing wrong. And I'll ignore all of the good things. So this has helped me a ton, defining the win. Okay, what are 3 things? I've forced myself to only have three goals. I actually don't like to-do lists anymore because I just put too many things on it. And then no matter how many things I get done on the list, I never get them all done. And then I'm mad at myself. And then I feel like a failure. And then I don't give myself rest. It's just, I think for me, a to-do list has just become too much negativity. So I'm trying to just have 3 things. I have a someday list, a someday, whenever, but my to-do list has 3 things. That's it. 3 things. Defining the win. Okay, anything else is awesome. And I ask myself this, at the end of the day, what will I feel great about? I will feel great if I get this and this and this done. These 3 things. That's it. And if I can get through to the end of the day and I've done those 3 things, that's a win. And I try to really encourage myself to say, when my brain wants to look at the things I didn't do and the areas that I wasn't awesome in and something that I failed at or whatever, my brain wants to find those things. I'm trying to just be encouraging to myself and say, hey, this was the win for today. If I want to think about those things, I can put them on the win list for tomorrow. They can be one of the 3 things, right? For tomorrow. But for today, these were my 3. Did I make the win? If I didn't, let's look at why and make a plan for tomorrow. But if I did those 3 things, that's a win. And I'm trying to let myself take that win. Sometimes I do it better than others, right? But it is helping to build encouragement. And I'm noticing that it's helping me to be more easygoing with my kids. It's helping me to not nitpick. Okay, yeah, you did great on this test, but you didn't do this. It's helping me to just, be more accepting, be more peaceful, content. Isn't this what we're after? So this is truly helping me to do it. So I encourage you, if you're like me and you've struggled with being critical and judgmental, particularly on your own self, try this. because it's really made a difference in my life, and I think it will help you too. Something else that I think will help is visualizing the feeling you want to have in your home. So this is what I try and do is I have my 3 things. My win list is 3 things. At the end of the day, can I say I've done these 3 things? And then the other thing I'm working on is visualizing the feeling I want to have in my home. So let's try it. Close your eyes right now and think about the feeling you want to have in your home as you're interacting with your family, as you're going about the day, as the kids are there, during a meal, cleaning up, whatever that is. What's the feeling you want to have in your home? Is it fun and playful? Is it energetic? For some families, like that's the feeling you want to have. But for some parents, the feeling is more like peace and calm. Is it the picture of sitting on couches and everyone's kind of reading a book, or you're having a conversation together? Is that the feeling that you love? Is it like rambunctious and kind of crazy and fun and loud? Is that the feeling you want to have? Whatever it is, the goal is, can you get that feeling today? Can you do it? So for me, the feeling is like a lighthearted. It's not super loud and energetic and crazy, but it is like a lighthearted, like a laughter, an easygoingness, a peaceful contentedness in the home, just like an acceptance. That's the feeling that I want to have, is that we're all just getting along. We're believing the best about each other. Where there's some joking. It's just lighthearted. It's fun. It's easy. It just feels light and free. That's what I want in my house. So I try to bring that to the family. If that's what I want, if that's my own personal win, can I bring that to the family, first of all? And then secondly, I look for that. I look to try and have that in our home. And when I have it, my kids laugh at me because often I'll stop and I'll say, oh, this is my dream. This is my dream right here. It's that we would get along like this. This is my favorite. I love it. Everyone, this is my dream. Take the win. And I really do that. And yes, I get mocked for it. But that is the feeling I want to have. What's the feeling you want to have in your home? That will build encouragement. So that is talking about intentionally setting up for the win. So it's the 3 things, not 25 on your to-do list. It's the 3 things and the feeling you want to have in your home. And at the end of the day, as you're getting ready for bed, if you can ask yourself, did I do those 3 things? Yes or no? What happened? What am I going to do for tomorrow? And then did I have the feeling? Did we get it today? And some days we don't. And some days we do, right? Did I get that feeling today? Okay. Why or why not? What can I do to show up tomorrow so I can bring that feeling? That's what I want. I don't really care so much now about the 25 things on my to-do list. Now that my youngest is 16, I have a 16-year-old and a 17-year-old at home and then a 23-year-old that's married. I see how close I am to not having them in my house anymore. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care about the laundry. I don't care about all the to-dos. I don't care about the errands. I'm like, I only have them here for X amount of time, couple of years maybe. That's it. That's all I've got them here for. And I'm like, oh, I want to make the most of it. I want to have all of these good memories. I want to put in the time now. That is the win. So visualize the feeling you want to have, and then you show up, you bring that feeling, and look for it in the family. Count it as a win when you get it. Is this helpful? These are 2 things. And if this is the kind of thing you're like, man, Jen, I hear ya, and I want to do this, and I want to do better, but it's just so hard. I don't know where to start, and I don't even see where I get it right or wrong. This is where private coaching is so amazing, because we all have blind spots. We all do. I do. I have my own coach. We all have blind spots that are hard for us to see ourselves. So working with someone is going to give you better results quicker when you have someone else that can ask the right questions and see these things in your life and be like, hey, you know what? I think this is holding you back. Or did you consider this? Or try this? If you want to get fast results, then reach out to me. Let's have a free strategy call. I want you to make it to whatever your next level is, whether that's in life, business, parenting, health. I want to see you peaceful, joyful, content, and happy. I want to see you loving this life that you've been given. And if you feel like everything I'm doing just isn't working, reach out, book a free strategy call, and let's chat. The 3rd thing, Brendon Burchard, asked 32 of the top CEOs, the top business owners in the world, what the 3 enemies were in their own life, in their success. And the first one was exhaustion. The second one was discouragement. The third one was overwhelm. Overwhelm. So you're not alone. Moms and dads, we're overwhelmed all the time. You're not alone in this. CEOs, business owners, overwhelm is a real thing. And I don't know when we decided that we had to be superhuman. I don't know. Interesting. We talk about priorities now, and maybe you've heard this before. Priorities isn't a word. Priorities, by definition, should not be a word. It's almost like saying plural first places. Who's in first places? That doesn't make sense. There's only one in first place, the same way there should only be one priority. By definition, priority should only be one thing. But we've somehow pluralized it and decided, no, we can do more than one. We can have many first places in our life. We can have multiple priorities. I don't know what happened there. We did something wrong. And we kind of live by that now. We have to do all the things all the time, 100% perfectly. What? Of course not. Overwhelm. The best way that I could describe overwhelm is I hear from parents all the time that say, I'm treading water. I feel like I'm just trying to keep my head above water. I'm like one bad day away from falling apart. I'm so overwhelmed. I'm just running all the time. There's no end in sight. I don't see a way out of this. It's never going to end. Do you see how that ties in with exhaustion and discouragement? Yeah, these kind of all fit together. They're like all evil cousins that hang out. Overwhelm is absolutely a real thing. And what I want to suggest to you guys is that overwhelm isn't from doing hard things. You do hard things all the time. Moms and dads, you do hard things, right? And you overcome. Absolutely. Overwhelm comes not from doing too hard things. It comes from doing too hard things too long. It's the no break thing. It's the doing hard things forever. And the hopelessness that sets in when we feel like it's never going to change. It's always going to be this way. I'm never going to get a break. We can do hard things for a season as long as we have an end date. That's why it's so key for me that parents have things in their calendar that they're looking forward to. It's so important that you have something. Maybe it's 2 Saturdays from now. You're going out with your friends for the day, or you're going out by yourself for the day, or you're sleeping in, or you're going to the garage to work on that project, or you're going on the fishing trip, or you're doing the conference online that you love. Like whatever that is, it has to be something in your calendar that you can look to and say, I can't wait to do this thing. I'm so looking forward to this. Has to be something you're looking forward to. So yeah, it can be a class if you love the class. If you don't love the class, then no, that's just another thing that's going to add to the overwhelm. So you need to have something. Open your calendar right now. Take a look. Is there anything coming up that you're looking forward to? And if not, that's a problem. If it's 2 months away, that's also a problem. It needs to be something that can encourage you to keep going, to keep doing the hard things, because there's an end date. It's not hopeless because on this day, I get this thing. I'm having rest. I'm doing this fun thing. Something's filling my cup on this day. That's what we can do to overcome overwhelm. It's the hopelessness that gets us. So if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel hopeless, you need to make a plan. You need to buy some tickets for something. You need to take a fun class. You need to call some friends, plan a getaway. You need to do something. And I know it's work. And I know it seems when you're already exhausted and discouraged and overwhelmed, it's really hard to make that effort. But it is so, so worth it. So get creative. Maybe you could trade off days with a friend. When my kids were young, I remember trading with a friend. One week I would have her kids. another day. The next week she would take mine, and I would have a whole day where I could plan. I could plan a haircut, or I could do a couple of errands and then go, out for coffee by myself and read a book. I could do whatever. I could go for lunch with a friend or my partner, and it was wonderful. And I would look forward to this whole day of peace. It was fantastic. Can you get creative? That didn't cost a dime. There was another time in my life when I paid for my kids to go to daycare once a month. One day a month, they would go to daycare, and I would clean the whole morning. I would do like a big clean of my house, and then the afternoon was just for me. And I would go for lunch, or I would go shopping, or I would do nothing. Sometimes I would just like sit on my couch and read a book and do nothing. And it was glorious. And I looked forward to it, and it filled my cup. And it was something that helped me not feel hopeless. It helped to encourage me. It brought me energy. So what is it for you? Think about what you can do. Another thing to consider is how much you've added on. When's the last time you took something off your plate? Author Katie Cole taught this to me, and I thought, oh, this has stayed with me because I'm so bad at this. So she says, we all have a plate size that we can handle, and all of us are different, and at different times in our life, we might have a different plate size. She said, but the problem with parents, in particular moms, is we tend to just add more and more things to our plate. We just heap on more. So maybe we have one kid and we have a career, and then we have another kid, and we just kind of pile all that on. Now we have double, the schedules and the appointments and the different things and the classes, and we add all that on, and we're figuring that out and managing all of that. And then we get a promotion at work, and we add on to our duties there, and we just think, oh, I'll get a bigger plate. I've just got a bigger plate now. Next thing you know, we got like this giant turkey platter. We have like this huge turkey platter, and we're thinking, really? I'm just going to keep adding on to it. Just get a bigger plate. It'll be fine. I'll just figure out how to multitask even more, and I'll get extra efficient, and I'll get up at 5 a.m. and I'll do these things at night. Really? Really? How's that working for us, right? Think about it. Exhaustion, discouragement, overwhelm. So here's what author Katie Cole says. She says, when you go up a level in your life, whether it's in business, whether it's at home, whether it's adding another child, whatever that is, if you go up a level in your life, you need to think about, those British plates like for tea, where there's the biggest plate on the bottom, and then there's a medium plate in the middle, and then at the top is a tiny little plate. She said, you have to think of it that way, because every time you go up a level, the things get a little more challenging. It gets a little bit more difficult managing the things. So when you go up a level, you have to think it's a smaller plate, actually. The things matter more, right? I have to be more careful now. So I actually need a smaller plate for now. And then if you go up a level again, even smaller. So maybe every time you go up in life, however that looks for you, instead of thinking of adding it on to an already full plate, what can you take off? To go up a level, you have to remove, because the things matter more now, right? They're more important. If you're moving into management at work, it becomes more important, the things that you're doing. You need to give them more attention. They're going to take more time. They're going to take more of your energy. So you need to go up a level. That means taking some things off your plate, not adding. That has helped me a ton to not feel guilty, to not feel like I'm a failure if I can't do all of the things and more. I think my brain felt like if I was going up a level in life, it meant like I couldn't admit failure. How does that even work? I felt like if I couldn't manage everything, then I didn't deserve to have the new thing, whatever the level up was. If I couldn't manage everything I already had, then I didn't deserve to have the new and improved thing. So therefore, I couldn't admit failure. I couldn't admit defeat. And it felt like that. It felt like failure and defeat in my own mind. But can I encourage you that it's only in your mind, actually, that even these 32 most powerful people probably in North America, if not the world, have all said that was bad for them, that held them back. And it's when they learned how to let go of some of those things that they got better. that's when they found their stride, and that's when they were able to be successful, not just on paper, but when they could enjoy it. That's what I want for you, right? You've got these babies, and I know you love them, but you want to enjoy these years. You don't want to look back on these years and feel guilt, right? You don't want to feel resentment, like, man, I blew it, I wasted it. I felt that way for a long time. I don't want that for you. I want you to say, you know what? I made the most of it. Sure, it wasn't perfect. I did not do everything I wanted to, but I showed up in a way that I think reflects who I want to be to my kids, to my partner, to the world, and I modeled the character that I want them to be. That's what we want, right? Ultimately, that's the most important thing. And I want you to be encouraged. I want you to have peace, joy, contentment. I want you to love these years as much as you can. So get the rest, please. Just get the sleep. Do you need sleep? Like literal minutes, hours of sleep? Can you figure out a way to do that? Can I prescribe that to you? As a non-expert, can I do that? What can you do to encourage your own self? Set up the wins. Be intentional about the feeling you want to have in your home and then go after that. And then third, don't feel pressure like you have to do all the things and just add on to your schedule and, multitask and be efficient and get it all in. Please, what if you could just level up, go to a smaller plate and enjoy that? How would that feel? Could you do it? I hope so. That's what the experts are saying. That's what they had to figure out to get to their next level and to love their life. And I want that for you right now. I want you to love where you're at now, not once the kids are potty trained, right? Not once you make X amount of money and you can pay someone to clean your house. I want you to love your life now. So let's figure this out, guys. I'm here with you. Reach out to me anytime. I'm cheering for you always. Take care.
Families Matter Most with Jen Dean, part of the Saskatchewan Podcast Network.
Have you booked a free strategy call yet? Because I offer free one-on-one video chats to see what coaching could be like for you. So if you've never tried it, you need to book a free strategy call right now. There's private coaching if you want help in your parenting, if you want help to deal with some anger, to work on some of your kids' negative behaviors, because yep, they all have them. If you want that, you're going to want private coaching. But also if you want to work on you, if you're in a place where you would say, you know what, I need to work on myself so that I can show up better for my family, so that I can take care of stress and anger, so that I can be a better mom, that I can show up and be more positive to the people in my life. If that is where you're at, then book this call. Let's see if private coaching or group health coaching would be a good fit for you. Book a free strategy call today.